Hi, my name is Suhon and I am a student in the elementary education program at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and today I will be reading to you the sandwich swap. I will be asking some questions throughout this reading, so feel free to pause and discuss with your class as necessary. But I would like to start out by just taking a look at this cover and tell me what you notice. What do you notice about the two girls? Do they look like they're friends? Do they have any differences? Go ahead and pause and talk with your class about this for a little bit and bring up some answers, and then we'll begin. Okay, so this is the sandwich swap by Her Majesty Queen Renea Al Abdullah, with Kelly DiPiccio and illustrated by Trisha Tusha. Here's the picture. It all began with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it ended with a hummus sandwich. Salma and Lily were best friends at school. They drew pictures together. They played on the swings together. They jumped rope together. Now I want you guys to pause and take a look at the students behind. What do we notice about them? Do they have any differences? Do they look like they're having fun? And they ate their lunches together. But just what they ate was a little different. Lily ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day for lunch. Selma ate a hummus and pita sandwich every day for lunch. And although Lily never said it out loud, she thought Selma's sandwich looked weird and yucky. She felt terrible that her friend had to eat that icky chickpea paste every day. Ew, yuck. And although Selma never said it out loud, she thought Lily's sandwich looked strange and gross. She felt just awful that her friend had to eat that gooey peanut paste every day. Ew, gross. Then one day, Lily just couldn't hold back those pesky thoughts any longer. "Your sandwich looks kind of yucky," she blurted out. "What did you say?" Selma asked, thinking she must have misunderstood her friend. "I said, your sandwich looks yucky." Selma frowned. She looked down at the thin, soft bread, and she thought of her beautiful, smiling mother as she carefully cut Selma's sandwich into two neat halves that morning. Her hurt feelings turned mad. "Yeah, well, your sandwich looks gross, and it smells bad too," Selma snapped back. Lily looked surprised. She sniffed the thick, squishy bread, and she thought of her dad in his silly apron, whistling as he cut Lily's sandwich into two perfect triangles that morning. Lily scowled. "It does not smell bad." "Does too. Ew, yuck, ew, gross." Why do we think the girls are upset at each other? Go ahead and talk with the class about it. See what examples they bring up. That afternoon, the friends did not draw pictures together. They did not swing together, and they did not jump rope together either. The next day, Selma ate her lunch at one table and Lily ate her lunch at another. Meanwhile, the peanut butter versus hummus story had spread, and everyone began choosing sides. Each side had something not so nice to say to the other. Peanut butter breath, jelly heads, garlic breath, chickpea brains. Pretty soon, the rude insults had nothing at all to do with peanut butter or hummus. "You're weird. You're stupid. You look funny. You dress dumb. What do we notice that's going on here? Take a look at the picture. And here's those names that the kids were calling. What do we think is going on? And then it happened. Somebody yelled. What do we think they're gonna yell? Take a couple minutes to foreshadow what we think is gonna happen. Food fight! Peanut butter and hummus sandwiches and other lunch favorites began flying back and forth between both sides of the lunchroom. They stuck to the walls, they stuck to the ceiling, they stuck to the lunch lady. When the sandwiches were all gone, pudding cups and applesauce and carrot sticks took flight. Selma and Lily looked at one another from across this rowdy, splattered room. They both felt ashamed by what they saw. Take a second to look at this picture and as a class talk about what foods you notice, what foods do you recognize, and where do you recognize them from? Whether that be at home, any family gatherings. They both felt really ashamed when the principal called them into her office after they had helped clean up the mess. The following day, Salma set her lunch down across from Lily's. The two girls nibbled on their sandwiches in silence. Finally, Lily got up the courage to speak. Would you like to try a bite of my peanut butter and jelly? Salma grinned. Sure, why not? Would you like to try my hummus and pita? Lily laughed. I'd like that. On the count of 3? Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. What do we think is going to happen? Yummy! Hey, this is delicious, and this is heavenly. The girls giggled and hugged and traded sandwiches. After lunch, Selma and Lily met with the principal again. This time, they were there to suggest a very special event for the whole school. And that's how it all began, with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and ended with a hummus and pita sandwich. This is one big long picture here. I can scan it across. Take a couple minutes to just look at this picture. Tell me what you notice. What do you see on the table? And then as a class, go ahead and talk about what we learned from this and how we see this in our world, but also what we can do to make sure that a story like Selma and Lily's getting in a fight doesn't happen. Talk about what we can do to be nice to our friends who are different, and just have a group discussion about how this book made us feel all together. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this sandwich swap by Her Majesty Queen Renea Al Abdullah with Kelly DiPiccio and illustrated by Trisha Tusa.